Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Super Metroid Redesign Axeil Edition, and this time there is progress because I found that bomb block. Again, I found that watching Techno Mega stream his playthrough of this, and that block, like I said in the last video, is one of those glowing blue glowy Rinka blocks. So in the new version, much easier to see. This version, not so much. But it's a block, and that's the one thing I was missing in the last video for making any progress. So with that, you can get up here, all the way around here, and then you kind of find out how the death lasers work. You destroy his appetites and then death lasers disappear. Again, I like this idea. It's a cool idea. It's just it's been redesigned heavily. And of course, after destroying a death laser appetite thing, there would have to be a purple door after that. You know, why wouldn't there be? Just, why not? So anyway, that was the one thing I was missing from the last video, and of course more purple doors, because again, this is the epitome of fun, is sitting at one spot, especially when you're firing supers and they're not actually doing anything because supers are worthless in this hack. So yeah, again, it's 2 Metroid rooms, so you gotta destroy 4 Metroids. I'm doing a very bad job at. Yeah, these Metroids, they're just not really fair for a player. They really aren't. But yeah, there's a lot more secret morph ball stuff you gotta go through throughout the rest of this. The one switch we opened a gate here, which lets us destroy that, which knocks out a death laser up here. Should be right there. And then another 25 missile door. You can see it's to one of those 1x1 rooms. I believe all these 1x1 rooms are guarded by a 25 missile door, and there's something like 10, maybe 12? I don't remember how many of these in particular are, but that's just these rooms. Purple doors are used in more than just these rooms. And it's like, really? There is far too much purple doors in this hack. There was far too much before we got to terrain. And terrain, I'm guessing, at least doubles the amount. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's the thing. But anyway, with that, I just let a Metroid latch on to me because I'm a genius. Really, there isn't much else to say about terrain at this point. It's really just a lot of slow advancement. This is a 3 Metroid room. But it's just a lot of slow advancement, where in this version you had rooms like this where you could be absolutely destroyed, because 3 Metroid rooms are the worst, and also Space Jump is the worst in this hack. There's a lot of things that are the worst. This hack happens to have a lot of those things in it. But yeah, why would you not have more death lasers? Oh, I was wrong. This one wasn't guarded by a purple door. I'm shocked. It's probably so you couldn't have a safe place from the 3 Metroids. Yeah. It's a long process of going through. And again, we're trying to reach the one save that's visible on the map. Like I said before, that save is probably about a fourth, or probably closer to a third of the way through terrain. There is a while to go. And it's filled with Metroids that will absolutely demolish you. Because reasons and stuff. So yeah, you can see I got better with the Metroids. They're still a huge hassle, but yeah, they're not something I would ever put in a hack that was made to be easier. So, I'm not sure if I did mention this about the stun timer or whatever. When the Metroids, when you bomb them off, they're stunned or whatever. The more times you bomb them off, the longer they stay stunned, which is supposed to give you time to bomb them all off, freeze them, shoot some missiles without destroying them, so they can latch onto you again so you can bomb them off and freeze them, and then finish them off with missiles. Again, that is what you are supposed to do. And that's ridiculous. So yeah, when you get to these 3 Metroid rooms, and you destroy one or whatever, don't worry about that, just try and keep that one separate. So that way, the ones with the longer stun timers that you haven't destroyed, because when they get destroyed, their stun timer resets, of course. So the 2 you didn't destroy will still have their longer stun timers, so you can keep working with those. And yep, purple doors. Purple doors. Purple doors everywhere. Which is just fun, because if you run out of ammo when you enter a room like this, you are screwed. That's all there is to it. You are done. There is no way getting through this, but you know, ammo management is fun and all. Also, I'm a terrible shot sometimes. Wow. So yeah, while going through here, if these purple doors have indeed not been taken out, you'll want to be careful and make sure you have plenty of ammo for Metroids afterward. Otherwise, you need to backtrack all the way back to the refill station so you can refill and then come all the way forward again. Yeah, it's a thing. So yeah, this thing, basically, you don't want to come here quite when I came here, because you have to fall down into there. And this is just an exit only here. So it's like, oh. Well, that was great. But yeah, this is the hallway before the save room. And that is what we are working toward in this video. This whole video is spent trying to get there. And this is basically the end of the first bit with the death lasers. They sort of go away for a little bit, but they sort of don't as well. Oh, also speaking of ammo, you also need it to destroy the Zevatites, so if you don't have it for that, yeah, could just, yeah, whatever. It's redesign. It's great. But yeah, the death lasers sort of go away once you get to that save station. They're still there, but deactivating them isn't a focus, because at that point you're entering basically another section of terrain, and that is a very heavy Metroid section, which I know is just wonderful, seeing how we've been so happy with them so far, or at least I've been. And also, yes, space jump is the worst. The physics in this hack, they are improved. They are still awful. Space Jump in particular. And then that part in Meridia where it's like, oh, hey, they might circumvent 2 minutes of going around in a circle. So I'm going to knock them out of Space Jump when they jump up the sandfall. Yeah, that's a good idea. Because arbitrary barriers. And there's quite a few arbitrary barriers in this hack that are just really annoying and frustrating. So this thing that we've already put down, we can't actually do anything yet. This is what we're working for. We need to shut off some more lasers, obviously, before we get to that point. But that's kind of what we're looking for. We're trying to shut off lasers so we can get down into there and take care of those lasers, or those appetites, which then, I believe, those are the ones that give you access into the save room. Yeah, and this is a very redesign-ish, long-winded, tedious process to get there. Like I said, there's similarities to Z Factor in that terrain is lockdown. Which again, it should be, that makes sense. And again, I like the death laser idea. It's just so drawn out in this hack that it becomes no. You're not really playing a game anymore. This is a chore. It's like, I really don't want to take out the trash, but you know what? I'd rather take out the trash with my tongue than play this. So yeah, that got rid of that death laser. And then you can go around and do some more things. And then once you get those death lasers, you have some more roundabout paths you have to take to get to some other death lasers. Or some other zebatites, sorry. I keep saying death lasers. I mean zebatites when I'm saying take them out. You're taking out death lasers, but yeah, whatever. You get the idea. It's just a super long process. That's a big difference between the lockdown in this hack and the lockdown in Z Factor. One was shorter. It still made terrain longer because you're having to look around places. It's kind of unusual for a Metroid hack, honestly. And you can kind of see. It's like, oh, we shut off those, so now we have to go around from more angles, other places. We have to go morph around through other tunnels and such to get to those zebatites to shut those off. Like I said before, it's really, really long-winded and whatnot. So you have to go shut those off. And then you've got to shut a couple more off at the bottom, because those two only shut off 2 in front of the safe station. There are 4 there. So, yeah. Destroying those shuts off those lasers, but also opens up a couple other zebatites down beneath the safe station, which is where I was exploring in the first video in terrain. It's a thing. Going around all over the place. Doing giant circles just for the sake of doing giant circles. I know a lot of people say that, like when people make their hacks, start off new hacks or whatever, because Redesign is such an influential hack. A lot of people sort of base early concepts or whatever off of Redesign. And so a running gag in the community is, well, it looks a lot like Redesign. If you want to make a hack that plays like Redesign, just make a hack where you have to constantly do huge, massive circles for no other reason than for the sake of doing huge, massive circles. Then you have made Redesign. And throw in some bad physics and remove any sort of speedrunning and make arbitrary barriers. And then you have Axeil Edition. So yeah, you can see we got one death laser done. We have to get to the other side to shut off the other one there. Then of course there's the two on the bottom. You have to shut the ones up top off first. I don't remember if I went back to the other one first, or if I found my lesson the hard way. Yeah, I forgot what room I was in already. It's like, oh, wait. But yeah, you need to shut, at least, I don't know if this was different in the 1.4 version. I really hope the 1.5/1.6789, whatever versions are out by the time this video is out. Because that way, hopefully, there's something better to say about this hack. Because it does make a lot of improvements. There's a lot of really cool things in here. But it's just overrun with tedium and sort of like really bad and unfun, maybe not necessarily bad, but really unfun stuff. Unfun decisions. So yeah. I mean, you can see the map. It looks like we've gone through a half. But it's really just a fourth or a third. Because again, you have to travel this whole thing again because those 1x1 rooms with the Zebatites and Death Lasers cover the whole thing. And you have to go through and unlock each of them. And that takes a pretty convoluted mess of passages to get to. So yeah, it's definitely a struggle. And why that couldn't be a 2x1 bomb block, I don't know. Probably because it took too much time. Oh, yes, and this. Because you can't spring off of crumble blocks, because again, another absolutely terrible decision that, oh hey, jumping off crumble blocks is bad for no reason other than, there is no reason for that. You have to make that jump up there, or you fall and do the big loop. Which, you know, in Z Factor I'm fine with. And I would be okay with that in this hack if I had the option of bouncing off the crumble blocks. If I just fell through because I'm a dingbat, that's my fault. I expect to be able to springball or jump off of crumble blocks. It's like screw attack being a safety net for players. It's like, I can hold my position here until I find out what I'm doing. And once I figure that out, then I can make my move. Until then, I am safe just bouncing on this crumble block. Or sitting in the air screw attacking. But no, those aren't things in this hack. And especially in this hack here, where it was made to be easy. And I keep saying that because that was the goal. That's how the hack was presented. And it sort of lives up to that through the rest of it. And it just throws it out the window here. And that is one of the big reasons for some of my dislike of this hack. It's not all of it though. Like, a lot of my dislike comes from the actual removal of any sort of speedrunning type of thing. I am not the biggest speedrunner in the world. Also, yes, you see death lasers and whatnot. Over there is the feeding area, as you can tell by the change in tile set. And those death lasers, there is one door in particular where if you don't jump through, you will fall on the death laser and kill yourself. And that's after doing some time going through the feeding pit. So you could probably lose about 20 minutes just going through a door, and through no fault of your own, you just fall into a death laser because, oh hey, I didn't know I had to jump through there. Or you forgot. Because you're headed back, I think it's when you're heading back trying to save your progress. And then it's all of a sudden, well, nope. You want to go back and save? Why don't you just die instead and start it all over? That'll teach him. Which I think, I know in 1.4 it's still there. At 1.5, I think he might have put a one tile ledge there. And also, yes, I am going back to the same exact place. I haven't got it around my head yet that, oh, wait a second. I did the lasers up top. The lasers I saw before that are on the bottom, that I've already explored through before but couldn't do anything, are now taken care of. It's like, oh. So then I get there and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, things. So yeah, a lot. I mean, and it's a shame too because, like, I would be much more okay with this terrain if they were just the regular redesign Metroids, because those were bad enough. They were fast and they respawned, and they were annoying. They were bad enough. But then you got these flying death monsters now, and it's saps a lot of the fun out of this. This would have been long and tedious anyway, but it could have been less about being long and tedious. And pain. And more just long and tedious. You could drop the pain. And death. So, yeah. But yeah. I mean, and so here's something I forget if I'm probably misquoting this, or not misquoting, but giving credit to the wrong person, but I believe it was Shakespeare. I could be very wrong. Somebody correct me, please. I'm not the most up to date in my literature or whatever. Who said what? But I think it was Shakespeare who said brevity is the soul of wit. And yeah, I need to go there and destroy the super missile block, but whatever. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with big hacks or whatever. I enjoy them. Like Z-Factor, I think, is the best hack out there. It's a very large hack. Like Super Zero Mission, it is also a very large hack. Same with Phazon hack, and Hyper Metroid's alright. Those are all very large hacks, and they're fine. The thing with the Z-Factor terrain when compared to the redesigned terrain is once you get to the thing to shut stuff off, that's it. You did it. Good job. This, you get to the thing to shut things off, and nope. You got about 4,900 more to go. And every one you have to do a massive loop to get around. That's why I bring up that other comment where, you know, it's something interesting. Sometimes the best thing to do is keep that something interesting and keep it very short, keep it very localized. That's why I think the Z-Factor terrain is so memorable. It's not just because it had a really cool effect or whatever, but once you did the one thing, you got through the lockdown or whatever, you did the thing, power went off, that was it. It was that one thing. You didn't have to go hunting things down. The only thing you had to do was go back to the one spot where these tubes were blocking your access in the first place. So you had to work your way back through terrain. That was the Z-Factor terrain. Redesigned terrain, as you can see, is a bunch of circles going all over the place. And the hidden stuff is cool. I do like the exploring stuff. Like, there's nothing... Like, the morph tunnels and stuff, they're cool. I like them. There's a lot of... I was actually kind of feeling that this hack was sort of doing a Z-Factory thing with terrain because of how sort of interconnected and all these hidden tunnels it is. All these things all over the place. It's just takes way too long. This is beating something to death. It's beating a dead horse. So yeah, with that we are a fourth / a third through, even though it looks like we're more, but don't worry, we're not. That's basically what you have to do to shut off all the death lasers to this point. Which gives you access to your first save, which also thankfully is straight across from the refill station, because again, there will be more purple doors and Metroids. And speaking of purple doors, have to make sure that save is heavily guarded, after all. And then finally, after that, you get to your save. Unfortunately, that's not it for terrain. There's plenty more. And coming up in the next video, we start getting into the feeding pit, which is, again, really Metroid heavy. And then we get on a quest to just deactivate the rest of the death lasers, so fun.